Okay, so the first
Mhm.
thing you guys have to focus on is to know yourself. You need to assess the strengths and weaknesses that you have, meaning the chapters, the subtopics which come in that chapter, all those things you need to assess how much you know. Sometimes it's like you'll be very strong in zoology, you might be weak in botany, or if we take in zoology only, maybe you love some lesson like physiology, but other lessons you like biotechnology, you may not be so strong in such cases. What you need to do is you need to focus on your strengths, and your target should be like, I will score 100% of the marks. Any question that is going to come from the topic that I love or from the topic that is my strength, I'm going to score 100% marks in that. That should be your target, because some people will lack in some areas, but they will be genius in another areas. So key lies in taking the maximum advantage out of your strengths. And also, you need to look at previous year NEET question papers and see the trends. Which chapter is gaining more importance? Which chapter is getting more weightage of marks? Because if you see, it's not like each and every chapter will get the same weightage as per marks I'm speaking about. Some chapter may be very small, but it can attract many questions. Some chapters are very large, but one or two questions are coming from that. That also you need to see when you're preparing. You'll get this chart. I think just if you Google, you can get how the question paper pattern has changed, how many number of questions are appearing from each chapter, what is the weightage given to each chapter, that you'll come to know. And when you see that, if you identify that some important chapter you're lacking in, then target that chapter. Okay, you still have time. So here the tests will be very helpful for you. Weekly tests will be there, chapter wise tests will be there. What you can do is, after reading a chapter, take the chapter wise test. In chapter wise test, in the single topic, they are giving you many different questions, right? Same a question is worded in many different ways, so that will help you to understand the topic better and get an idea about how questions can come from each chapter. So assessing your strengths and weaknesses, that will be very important. Always remember, in your strength, keep the aim that in this chapter I'll score 100. That means whatever question is going to come from this chapter, I'm not going to miss it. That is how you have to target. And in your weaknesses also, I'm not telling you that you can neglect it. I'm telling you that for the chapters which you consider as a weakness, you still have time. What you can do is give it more time and take more tests related to that chapter. So SamAI app can be very useful there, right? Because you can choose the chapters and you can take chapter wise tests also. So wherever you find that you're lacking, go to that chapter, read it and test yourself. Test and retest. That is the key, because we will read, then we will understand. What we feel is, yes, I know this topic well. I have understood everything in this topic. But you don't know how the questions are going to come unless you attempt some questions. So, attempting the questions will be very important. That is the first thing I can say. Next is the power of practice. This is a derivation of what I was saying, right? In your strengths and weaknesses, practice and practice again. So, always, everyone will be knowing the sentence, right? Practice makes perfect. So, if you need the perfection, the perfect score in NEET, then you need to practice. Revision. See, our brain has two kinds of memory, right? We have temporary memory, we have permanent memory. What is it that is converting the stuff that is in temporary memory into permanent memory? How does it get converted? You see something while passing the road today, you see some building. As soon as you go home, if you recall it, you will remember it on the next day also. But if you don't recall it, once again, if you don't think about that building at all, in On the next day, some person may ask you the address of that building, but you won't be knowing because it was in your temporary memory. And by the time you slept and got up the next day, it is lost. But things that are in permanent memory will be retained. So, for things to be converted into permanent memory, repetition is the key. Whatever might be, you may be free for half an hour. You can just go through the textbook. Even if you flip through it, your brain is recalling the stuff you have read. So that is why repetition is the key. Practice always makes perfect. So practice the stuff. That is what is important. And here
Yeah,
also, yes,
one question, ma'am. So
yeah,
most of the students has a fear. So if I practice, my score will come less. So that way they will get demotivated. So they
yes,
don't
this,
give the test only.
yes,
They keep reading more, but they don't
yes,
practice. They avoid practicing. What is your
yes.
take on it, ma'am?
Yeah, this is why I told this thing that you need to test yourself, otherwise, you will not know. Always, you will feel that you know the concepts, but knowing the concepts and tackling the type of questions that come from that concept are a little bit of different things. See, making mistakes here is better than making mistake in NEET exam, isn't it? If you keep making mistakes here, today maybe you'll take a test. Out of 10, you're going to get 9 wrong and only 1 right. But nobody is going to remember this score on the day you score more than 700 marks in NEET, right? Is anybody going to remember that, oh, first time you gave a test in SamAI app, or first time you gave a mock test, in that mock test you got only 1 mark or you got only 4 marks? No one is going to remember that. So always see that this is for self assessment. Only you are going to see it. When you see that the marks is less, it is not a reason to get demotivated. Rather, it is a source of motivation. Today, I'll get 4 marks. Tomorrow, I'm going to take it to 8 marks. That is the source of motivation. You shouldn't get demotivated. Yes.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in this practice, what happens is when you keep practicing, the same question can be asked in different ways, right? In such things, this will help. If the same question keeps coming in different ways, then the same topic you're going to see from different angles. You'll get different angles of the same topic. So, that will help you to build your knowledge.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So
Hmm.
here I would like to add the students. So here you can see there is a 2018 question, previous year question. If you could click on similar AI question, AI will generate the similar questions related to this topic and this format only. So that way your accuracy will be improving. So yes, ma'am. So MCQ answer strategy, uh, you want to
Yes.
take it, ma'am?
Yes. Yes, actually, I had changed the slide. That was what I was seeing.
Hmm.
See, I can give you an example here for this practice about cyclosporin A. If you take the daily test of this microbes in human welfare, in that test itself, there are two different questions based on cyclosporin A. One question gives you four different statements regarding cyclosporin A and asks you which are the right questions, right statements. The other question asks you about where cyclosporin A is produced and by which organisms. So the same topic can be asked in two different formats. You'll get used to it like this. If you just click on daily test, then only you can get these there only you can see these questions. I had actually put those questions here, but it's not showing. Yeah. See if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can see the comparison.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm displaying it, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. Now I can see. See. You can see, right? You get so many information about cyclosporin A in just two questions. If you had to read it through your textbook, then you had to go through so many topics, you had to go through so many paragraphs. So, answering the questions, attending the test is the best way of revision. Revision is indispensable part of any preparation, be it NEET preparation, be it any other competitive exam or your board exams. For everything, revision is the key because I told you about permanent memory and temporary memory, isn't it? So this answering tests, answering MCQs, questions, that is the best way of revision because you get lot of information in a very little time. You can cover lot of information in little time. So this is very efficient way of revision. Okay, so we can move on to the next slide.
Thanks, ma'am. Very good point.
Yes, sir. Next is about your exams. In the exams, you need to strategize. Okay, while answering MCQs, you need to strategize. First thing everyone will tell you to do is go round by round. Okay, in the first round, when you're answering, only answer those questions which you're 100% sure about. You know that you're not going to make mistake in this. Even if you have a little bit confusion between option A and option D, option C and option B, like that, if you have confusions, then keep it for the second round. Only those questions on which you are 100% sure, attend those. Okay, after attending all those questions, you can count and you can assess how you have done in round one. Here comes the key thing that in any such exam, in any such competitive exam, you cannot crack it without guesses. This guess is what I'm talking about is educated guess, not the wild blind guess. I'm talking about educated guesses. The guesses have more chance of being right only when you have the required foundation, only when you know the topic properly, then you can make a proper guess. Otherwise, it will be just a blind thing. If you do blind guesses, educated, they have more chance for being
Ma'am,
right. Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, voice was breaking. It's
Ah,
fine, ma'am.
okay.
Now,
So for
so students need to take that chances,
yes,
right?
sir, need
So
to take the
instead
chance.
of skipping the question,
Uh, the reason why I'm
yes, ma'am.
telling that you need to take the chance is because if you see at the cutoff of NEET, it is very high, right? For good medical colleges, the cutoff is very high. And when you keep answering, just assess. Okay, after the first round, no one will reach that much of marks. First round is the one where you're answering the things you know 100%. After that, if you count the marks, you will not reach that cutoff. So there is a need for you to make guesses. But while making guesses, you need to be very careful. If you know that topic, then think about it, recall, and elimination method is the best thing to do. In match the following and in many different stuff, elimination method will give you very good results. Okay. In NEET questions also, match the following can be easily solved with elimination method. So your go-to thing after the first round where you get all your 100% sure questions right, in the second round, first thing you need to focus on all the questions which you don't know is elimination, whether you can eliminate any options with the knowledge you have. After that, you can arrive at a desired answer. Okay, this is the strategy. And here again, tests, mock tests will play a crucial role because you can't just go to the NEET exam and take the guesses there. You have to do this work in mock tests which you're taking. Only then you will know how you're guessing. If your guesswork is good, only then you can take the chance in real NEET exam. If you find that in the mock test you are not able to guess properly, then you can't take that chance in the final exam, right? So that is why mock tests are the ones which will help you to do all this assessment, self assessment about your knowledge and assessment regarding this, whether I can guess or should I take this chance or should I not take this chance in the exam. All these things you have to assess yourself in the mock test itself. Don't go directly to the NEET examination hall and take a guess there. You assess yourself before taking chance. Yes, sir. We
One
can.
question student has asked, ma'am, how we can manage time? You want to take questions at the end, ma'am?
No, sir. It's fine. I
Oh,
can answer here
okay.
only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So one student is asking, how can we manage the time in the competitive exams?
So the idea behind competitive exam is the question paper setter will have given you sufficient time for each question. If one question is very lengthy, the other question will be one word answer. So in one question where you gain this extra time will be used up by the next question which is lengthy. Okay, that is why we go round by round. When you go round by round, all the questions which you know, you will have answered it in the first round, right? So the scoring things are already sorted out. The other things you are focusing on. And I think time management will be different for different people. Some people uh, will be very well versed in physics, chemistry. Some people will be very well versed in biology. If some subject is taking up more time, they are going to make up for it by answering quicker in other subject like that. It is actually subjective, sir. The time management. So this
Yeah,
time management also, if you
yeah.
want to assess
Yes,
yourself, again mock test. That is the only thing, sir. What is
correct.
happening is students are reading very well. Students are reading. They are going through the textbooks. They are practicing well. They are revising. But the thing is, they are not timing their preparation when they are attending the test. Also, when you keep book, paper, pen, and you answer, you are not keeping the timer with you, so you don't know how you're performing. Only in the exam you're going to sit there, you have the timer running on your head, right? The key thing is, even while practicing, you have to create an environment where you're sitting in an examination kind of setup and you're answering it within the time limit. For this also, the answer is assessing yourself by practice. So shall we move on to the next slide?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Visual aids for better retention.
Yes, so this is for your preparation, for preparing your notes, all these things for revision. If you do it in a flowchart kind of thing or a diagrammatic representation kind of thing, it is better retained, right? So, just like if I tell you a story now, you might forget it tomorrow. But if I show you a movie now, you'll surely remember it tomorrow, isn't it? Even if it is a bad movie, you'll remember it. That is because audio visual impact is more. That is why. So, see this flow chart. Instead of saying Whitaker gave the system of classification, I can say it in a paragraph format also. That has many different categories. Organisms are divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are divided into unicellular, multicellular. I can keep on talking about this for 15 minutes, but you will not retain anything by the end of this talk. But if I show you this presentation and show you this picture once, you will get a clearer picture about this topic, isn't it? So, even if such flowcharts are not available in your textbooks, even if diagrams are not available in your textbooks, you can make it yourself. For example, how the blood flows in the heart, from which chamber to which chamber, then from which chamber to which through iota it is going to arteries, all those things, which pathway it is going to follow. That beside the textbook only, in the textbook only, beside that paragraph itself, you can make that flow chart, right? So instead of reading two paragraphs, you can just look at that the flow chart and you will get the answer there itself. You'll revise very quickly and efficiently by this also. Okay, sir. Next slide, we can move on.
Yeah, thanks for the inputs, ma'am. Yeah, one
Uh,
of the IAS officer in Karnataka, she was also, when we asked the success mantra for clearing the toughest exam, she also told she used to remember things by visualizing.
yes,
So
sir.
through visualization, we can remember the story, like by making a story kind of a thing.
Yes, sir. That
Yeah,
and mnemonics are there to remember tough stuff. All those things will help.
yeah. Uh, Thanks for that, ma'am. Yeah, Amir, your input is a wonderful input. Amir is
Okay.
asking, can we ask AI to convert topic into flow chart? We will work on this, Amir, definitely.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So
That's also
Sanjana is
good.
asking, so Sanjana, the tips for NEET and Karnataka CET is almost same only. So the ma'am, whatever she is telling, you can apply to the physics, chemistry, mathematics as well as. So it is still relevant to CET as well. Yes, ma'am.
My
Moving to the,
focus today was on tackling competitive exams. So it's a kind of general preparation strategy. It will work for any competitive exams that you're planning to take. So the last point is take care of your health, because ultimately, in what condition you are when you're entering into the examination hall on that day, that is the one which is going to make the biggest impact on your performance, right? Mentally and physically, both I'm talking about. What condition you're in on that day, that is the thing which will impact the most. This I'm saying from personal experience, because when I was writing my PU examination, second PU examination, I had chikungunya. I couldn't bend my fingers, so I couldn't attend the whole question paper even though I knew the answers. So health is extremely important. You may have prepared very well for a whole year, but on that day, if you're not well, you're not going to perform properly. So take care of that point also. This is also not to be neglected. From personal
yes.
experience, also, I can say this.
Agree, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.